All right, we're here with Miller Thomas, and we just sang the praises of Minnesota being aggressive and bringing back a terrific talent.
Mhm.
And let's show that I can be unbiased and trash the Boston Red Sox.
Ooh.
I mean, I have a hard time completely trashing an ownership that has delivered 4 World Series titles, one being a little woo-wooey in 2018. Okay, 3 controversy-free titles and 1 controversy-filled title, fine. That's not what we were thinking about before 2004. Okay, I got that out of the way. For those of you thinking I'm ungrateful, you can't bungle these last bunch of months more. The only positive thing was the signing of Rafael Devers, and I absolutely believe that was done because they realized that people were about to burn Fenway Park to the ground. And this coming off of losing Xander Bogaerts, homegrown World Series hero Xander Bogaerts, to San Diego, who suddenly can outspend the Red Sox. And they had the backup plan. Well, they signed Trevor Story last year just in case. So at least they know they got Trevor Story to fill in. Oh, wait. Trevor Story is going to have shoulder surgery that could put his 2023 season in jeopardy. So, they may not have Bogarts or Story, and they may have one of the weakest outfields I can imagine. And oh yeah, they called me yesterday, seeing if I could do some spot starts. Could this be a 90-loss team we're looking at?
Well, they did address some bullpen concerns, Sully. Don't forget they signed Kenley Jansen this offseason, so they have
Oh
addressed the
God,
bullpen a little bit.
boy, oh boy! If you're waiting to have someone blow big games and be hated in Boston, write that in ink. Write that in ink. That Kenley Jansen is going to blow some huge games and become, just Calvin Schiraldi 2.0. I'm not for that. I saw enough games in LA of him blowing this game or that game or this game or that game. If he held on to the lead in game 2 of the 2017 World Series, the garbage can thing wouldn't even be an issue. I digress.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's going to be interesting when he's out there on the mound. It's going to feel a little Craig Kimbrelish in 2018 World Series when he's out there on the mound. But for the Red Sox, I mean, it's really incredible what they've been able to do since their 2018 World Series with the ability to just lose trust from their fans. Because if you think about what they did from 04 to 2018, like you said, 4 World Series after doing nothing pre that. You had that whole Babe Ruth curse. You finally break the curse in 04, and then over from 04 to 2018, it's the most magical run, not just Red Sox, in Boston history, because you had the Patriots and the Celtics were winning a couple titles at that time. And so Boston sports were popping all at the same time. And the Red Sox were at the top of the list with the New England Patriots. And since 2018, you trade away Mookie Betts that we've discussed. You let Xander Bogaerts walk. And then you try to tell us that the Trevor Stories of the world was going to be plan B in case Bogaerts walk. And now it's like, what has happened to this team? Now, I do like the fact that they signed Rafael Devers to that max extension, because I do feel like it buys the ownership group a little bit of time, and I think it calms the nerves of the fans down a little bit. Because listen, we both thought Devers was gone. We thought he was going to either walk in free agency, or we thought they were going to trade him this season, right? We thought there was no chance Devers was coming back. So now with Devers coming back, it's like, okay, maybe Boston does have a plan. Maybe we should be a little bit patient, but every other move they make is still so head scratching. And it's like, how did Trevor Story wait this long in the offseason to get this surgery? I know they said he kind of got hurt as he was ramping up to get ready for the season, but wasn't he dealing with like elbow and injury issues like last season? Like, why wasn't this addressed early in the offseason? And now you're going to go through the whole of 2023 with maybe no up the middle infielders. And then you look at the Dodgers who just traded for Miguel Rojas. Like, your options are falling off the table. You might have to come to the D-backs to trade for Nick Ahmed. Like, if you're a Boston Red Sox fan, you're going to watch Nick Ahmed play shortstop for you after watching Xander Bogaerts over the last decade. I'm sorry, Red Sox fans, they're not the same level of players. So I still don't understand the exact direction of this Boston franchise. Signing Devers helps a lot, to be honest. Signing Devers and having him locked up always makes you believe, okay, now we have this foundational piece and we can either flip him for more stuff down the line, or we can use him as the main piece to build this whole thing back around, because he is an MVP level talent. But this GM, this ownership group, it doesn't seem like they're into winning and spending money anymore. I just don't know what direction they're going to go into. Like, they spend money on Devers. Maybe it was only because he's like 26 years old and it's easier to rationalize giving him that long-term deal. But you also gave a 7-year deal to Trevor Story, who was clearly in the decline and starting to fail health-wise as well. So their decision-making just so questionable. It's just hard to trust this Red Sox franchise, which was so rock solid from 04 to 2018, despite always changing their GM like every 3 seasons, it felt like.
I think one of the things that you take a look at that great run between 2004 and 2018, there were some valleys. Certainly 2012 was the worst year.
Bobby V.
The Bobby V year was the worst Red Sox year I can ever remember. The great collapse of 2011 was also there, but then they rebounded in 2013. They had rebuilding seasons in 2014, 2015, rattled off 3 straight divisions, including the questionable World Series. And the residue of that led to them almost making the World Series in 2021. This would be a very different story, no pun intended, if they had gotten those last 2 wins against Houston and won in 2021. I think they'd be able to, that would buy them a little bit of time. I think one of the things that makes this different is that other than signing Devers, which just became a survival mode, I don't see a single move that they've made that has improved the team. That has improved the team in the long haul. And the fact that especially after DFAing Jeter Downs, the Mookie Betts trade is officially a whiff.
A disaster.
It's a disaster. They've let some of their pitchers, they've signed some of their pitchers to long-term deals that were filled with injuries, like Eovaldi and Sale. Now Eovaldi is gone, and I don't see the right people filling in. And I don't trust Bloom and this current iteration of the front office. I don't trust them to rebuild this team. But that being said, feel free to prove me wrong. I actually don't have an issue if the Red Sox are bad this year. I don't. I don't have an issue if they're bad the next 2 years. I know that may not be a popular thing amongst Red Sox fans. I would rather they have a team where they're saying this is this new group of young players that we're developing, and Devers will be the veteran star. And we'll have this anchor in the outfield, this anchor in the infield, this anchor in the rotation, and build around that. And I would rather say, we're aiming for 2025 with that as a goal, rather than this reuniting of the 2018 Dodgers on the team. It's like there are more 2018 Red Sox on the Dodgers, and there are more 2018 Dodgers on the Red Sox. I don't have faith in this front office to make these decisions, and they certainly haven't shown it in their trades nor in their signings.
Yeah, and 2021 was so crazy because, like you said, they were 2 games away from the World Series, and they went into that offseason and didn't improve the team at all. You felt like they just needed like 2 or 3 bullpen guys, maybe one more starter, and you could just run back the lineup. You probably didn't even have to touch the lineup. Maybe you wanted a second baseman or a first baseman, but you're like 1 spot starter, couple relievers, and this team is ready to compete for the World Series in 2022, and they did nothing to address those concerns. Then they entered this offseason. They're like, hey, let's address some of those bullpen concerns, but we're going to let Bogarts walk. We're going to give nearly $100 million to this Japanese outfielder that we've never seen. Like, I don't understand how they choose to let Mookie Betts, trade him away, let Bogarts walk away in free agency, but then you want to sign Trevor Story to a long-term deal. You want to sign Chris Sale to a mega deal, and maybe Chris Sale was worth a mega deal at the time, but we all know pitchers, you basically can't give them over a 4-year deal, because anytime you look at pitchers past a 4-year contract, like especially when it's those mega deals, like they never live up to it. Always those second half of those deals always turn out bad for those pitchers. And it's even worse than like when you sign a position player to a long-term deal. The shelf life for a high quality starting pitcher, it's just a lot shorter than it is for like a Xander Bogaerts who just signed for a decade plus with the San Diego Padres. So the fact that you were okay giving that kind of deal to a Chris Sale, knowing all the risks of a Trevor Story, and then this Japanese guy, like, I hope it works out for him, but he's a big unknown as it currently stands. So you got all those question marks you're handing out money to, but the Hall of Fame talent that you developed and grew in the Mookie Betts and the Xander Bogaerts, you're going to let those guys walk? I think that's the most frustrating part of this whole situation with the Red Sox, is the fact that you're signing guys, you're giving some players the fat deal who aren't homegrown, who haven't gone through the trials and tribulations with Boston, and then the guys like Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts, who are phenomenal on and off the field, you're going to let go. That is what makes me the most upset thing about this whole Boston Red Sox situation.
You see, we're not biased on here.
Yeah, that's
or,
fair.
Or at least we're objective. We can be objective about
I'm
this.
sweating. I'm getting so heated about this.
Nice.